Yeah, well, it's good to have you, man. I'm glad we were able to bring you in a lot of history.
It's interesting, man. Yeah, because like my wife lets me watch one game a week. It's always the Niners, and that's my limit. And so,
No Thursday or Monday night, pretty much, huh?
yeah, I mean, I'm sneaking it in where I can now, just on my phone,
Oh
and
no, we've got him. We've corrupted him.
I don't know. It's kind of cool how it's keeping me more engaged, but I don't know. I just try not to let it like track too much time for my kids and my family.
For sure, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, unless you got players going on that Monday night game and you need a win or something like that, right? Don't necessarily have to tune in, or yeah, like I said, just follow on ESPN app or something like that. But
Johnny,
definitely helps you learn the players' names and all that. Yeah, I got a little my little cheerleader here. Here, show us what you're gonna-
yeah, Johnny doesn't care after his kids anymore during football season, so they're just running wild.
They're watching with me. Here we go.
Hey, good to see you.
Kick off to the game now. Darin and Johnny here. Wow, talking NFL, no doubt. Breakdowns and the standout. Big plays and the touchdowns. Huddled in the background. Each week we break it down. Our podcast is the town.
Okay, well, here we go.
Let's go. Week 3.
Week 3 recap with week 4 look ahead. We've got a big timer in our studio today. We've got Philip. He's is he currently ranked number 1 or is it you, Johnny?
Pull it up.
No,
here. Yeah.
Johnny's ahead of me. He's got more points than I do.
Okay.
Feeling
20
good at
more
that
points.
number 1 spot and having that $200 still in the pocket there. How about that?
Yeah.
Oh, you haven't spent any waiver. So Ian, you
Not yet.
debunk Ian's
Planning on
theory.
it here. Planning on it today.
Oh, all right. And care to disclose?
Maybe when we get to my turn here, we'll see.
Okay.
We'll see
All
how
right.
much.
Are you going to give up a position at all? Let's see. We could probably figure it out just looking.
I'm planning to drop Herbert. Looks like he's going to be hurt, and he just hasn't. I mean, they've been winning, but he hasn't had a great fantasy performance yet. Like all of his, games have been like 15 or under, and so I'm going to drop him and try to pick up another position player. I think I'm just going to ditch the second defense too. Because I'm just going to roll with the Seahawks right now. They've been looking good, so.
Yeah, I don't know about carrying 2 defenses. I
wanted to see which one might do better, right? Because if the Buccaneers, I had them on the bench, like if they ended up being, over the first 3 weeks ended up showing promise, like I maybe would have, gone with them. But yeah, I wanted to just hold on to them, see if I needed it. Right now, I might. They're expendable at this point, so probably move on.
Yeah, well, Phil, I want to hear from you. Is this your first season of fantasy, or were you just playing us? Like how many times have you done this?
I mean, I did it back in college for probably like 2 or 3 seasons, and then a couple-year break, and I think my last season was in 2016. That was the last time I played, and it was kind of a joke because it was a bunch of people from work.
No money on the line.
No money on the line. No one was that into it or invested. A lot of people didn't know anything about football, so I think this is definitely my first serious league. I mean, I think I've done it with Ian before, probably like 2010 or something like that, and it was competitive. It was always with people from high school and stuff. It was always fun.
Seahawks.
Hey, yeah, there's another good segue right there. How you Niners fans feeling over there?
Not good, man.
Panic?
Yeah, it was tough. I kind of like have to skip through because I'm like recording it and doing all this other stuff on Sundays sometimes. So I'm like, I didn't catch all of it. I just knew it was a bad loss. Like that, we should not have lost. That one sucked.
Do you know we had Kevin Nickerson was on the sideline that game?
Yeah,
on the Rams sideline.
I saw that picture you put in the thread there. That's cool. Yeah,
that was it was a great game. An extremely tough loss, but what's his name went off and just totally
Jauan
destroyed
Jennings.
me.
Right,
yeah, Jauan Jennings, like 46 points.
I watched him pick him up like right before the day started. I woke up and I see, Jauan Jennings. I'm like, yeah, he'll probably go off today. And then I didn't think he'd get three touchdowns.
That is insane. Look at that, going from what was it, 5 to 46?
Yeah, so that's 12 crazy. Targets for 11 catches, and 3. He had, I think his first 2 catches were 2 touchdowns or something. And I looked through the stats, and the last time he's done anything, beyond, like he's barely gotten 2 digits scoring, but I did see like there's a LA Rams game back in like what was it, 2021, week 18, where he had something similar, you know. So yeah, that was interesting. Well, with that, we should probably kick off with the weekly report.
Yes.
I'm just gonna drum down this. If you guys have something you want to say about it, it's good to see Traco got his first dub, best manager. So he's, started all the right guys. Worst manager, Nick. We're going to be talking about that. I
It is
know.
tough. Good to see me up there at the top, first time for the season. Get
Yeah.
used to the boys, I would say.
Yeah. I mean,
And,
we're going to give you credit, Johnny. I mean, that was a big time score. I don't think we've seen those numbers this season or close to it.
I was surprised to be in the number one spot. I thought maybe I'd be 2 or 3, but I guess 3-0. Yeah, I guess this score must have pushed me over the top in terms of the points scored for all the undefeated teams. I guess, which is just me and Phil at this point, right?
Yep.
Undefeated. So, but
and that led to the biggest blowout, which you
Yeah.
and Ian, I mean, that was perceived to be like some of the top teams in the league. Ian couldn't hold on to the consistency. We'll dive in, see what happened. Kevin didn't start. Was he starting Cooper Cup and
Kittle, right?
and
Which I don't
Kittle, who were
I don't know
both
if
out.
Kittle was like a foregone conclusion he wasn't going to play, or if it was like just the day before or game time. But
I think there was a
Cup's been
day's
out for a
notice.
while, right? So maybe
Yeah.
I don't know if Kevin's necessarily got
I
the ear
shared
to
a
the
call
ground there, but yeah.
I shared a call with him last night. I was
yeah?
We were talking about fines that could ensue, and no, I was talking to him. Apparently, like training camp was really hectic. Excuse, blah blah blah, and then now there's a learning curve with the app, but he's going to be really involved and engaged apparently. So he's like,
Okay.
I didn't take the
All
time
right.
to learn. I didn't take the time to figure this thing out. He's
He's not out of it, I mean, what, he's gonna be 1 and 2 at this point.
well, I
Yeah.
told him, I was like, if you have AJ Brown, Cooper Cup, and Kittle both they all return like week 6 or something, or week
Right.
5. If he makes playoffs, there's a path for him to take podium. So
Mhm.
just trying to see where his head was at, and it sounds like he wants his plans to be involved. So
Yeah. All right.
that's
Good. That's good.
Low score.
else we
Josh Davis doesn't break 3 digits. Yikes!
Really? Is it? Yeah.
Yeah. We'll jump into that. Overachiever, obviously, Johnny. Wow, 36% above what you were expected. And then Nick, this is going to be tough. He's I heard he was already training with some short stacks over at the Pancake House to try to get ready for his loss.
You could always just make him at home. What do just get the complete mix with water and just start slamming them down for practice. I think Nick, it is tough to probably discouraging to think like all of his guys played. He set the right lineup, and I mean we'll have to dive in, like see maybe if there was some stuff he missed on the bench there. I think there probably was, but to have your opponent have 2 players out and think you probably got to win and not end up getting it. That's got to be discouraging, but we'll see.
Yeah.
I think with the, with us only having 10 players and six playoff spots, right? Nobody's really necessarily out of it. Like there's going to be that 6 playoff spots probably going to have a losing record.
Is it 6 or is it? Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, I was looking at into the details there, and yeah. So top 2s are going to get buys or whatever, right? If you can get into that top 2, you're almost in the money right away, right? Because as long as you get 3rd, you're already in the top 4 basically.
And I think there's strength of schedule as an issue too, because I was looking at it. I think I don't have to play Ian twice. Like that's a big team typically, and I'm curious how the variance is there.
That's a good point.
But I got to go against Austin. Austin's he's got a good team. So I got to go against him twice. I know that.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. Well, Phil, let's jump into your game. I want to hear you chat through, kind of thoughts going into the game, how you feel your guys are performing versus expected. Looks like you've got.
I mean, setting my lineup's pretty easy because like I don't have a ton of depth on the bench, and there's no like. I think Deontay he had a really good week this week with Dalton getting the start, and so I've kind of just held on to him to see what shakes out with him. So I'm going to start him this week with Devontae Smith.
Wow.
Probably not going. He's not going to play. So yeah, I mean my lineup's usually just set. I'm just trying to like add depth to the bench as I get through the weeks, but
Right.
you know, I was curious to see how Joe Burrow was going to do. He had a big game against Washington, even though they lost, and so it was kind of good to see him last night, kind of getting on point, getting in with Jamar Chase.
Well,
So,
and so far he hasn't put up like big numbers yet, right? I guess he had 17 the week before, and then he had 8 the first week.
Yeah.
You know, the game they lost against New England. So yeah, I think because if he had another game where he didn't perform well, you're probably maybe thinking about benching him at that point or finding somebody else, right? You know, if he had another lackluster game.
Yeah, he's my only quarterback. I always feel like there's quarterbacks out there. If I need to find someone for my bye week, I'll find someone. But yeah, I'm kind of just sticking with him at this point. I'm not going to cut him. So
yeah, he was challenging to work with last year. This year, it seems like he's starting to maintain some like, positive trends, 17, 25. So if he can keep
better
that
every
up,
week. Yeah.
it's really touchdown dependent, obviously. And, looks like they're passing a little bit more. So curious what that schedule looks like.
He's always gotten to it. Like I keep hearing about their Bengals record. The first 2 games are always they're not good. And they tend to get better as the season goes on. Yeah, Kamara came back down to reality again this week. But
that's still a decent reality. I mean, there's no TDs and he still put up 15 points.
You had the tight end of the week, Goddard, right?
Yeah, no kidding. AJ Brown. Yeah, man, he balled out. I was not expecting that from him. And I'm hoping he'll do the same thing against you this week. I mean, we'll see.
And Smith, I think, is out. He's going to be out this game, right? He's missing a few games, right? Devontae Smith, looks like.
I don't know if it's a couple. Is that the latest? I heard this morning that he was in doubt. So
okay, maybe watch it there, yeah. But that might be.
It seems that he's not necessarily out. Oh yeah, so he has a concussion.
He's going to be out for sure, probably.
Sometimes those guys can clear the protocol if it's a longer week, like as long as they don't play, in a short week. But
yeah, I'm expecting him to not play, but that's fine. Like Deontay Johnson, hopefully he keeps the
20
momentum going.
On the report, he has Deontay Johnson as the bench warmer of the week for receivers. It looks like on the report here. So he should be in good hands there, but hopefully not in too good of hands since we're going up against each other.
Since we're going up against, who's going to be 4-0, man? Only one of us.
Only one.
I'm looking forward to that because we're going to find out a lot. How about Josh? So let's talk about Josh. Is this trending negative, or was this just a bad week for him? I mean, we've got Carr. How's he been doing? He's okay. Carr's been doing well. Looks like just kind of a bad matchup. ETN seems to be doing fairly consistent. So like, where did this really go awry? I mean, obviously Carr tanked, and then it looks like Tyreek Hill.
Tyreek's torpedoes were not firing this Sunday.
It's the cops are just shaking him down. They're probably just like getting in his head every,
He's probably just getting more mail, and then it's just starting to mount.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It sounds like a lot of off the field drama.
And
hopefully,
and then Brock Bowers had that big game last week, right? He was the tight end of the week before, 18 points, and then he didn't have a great game. Neither did the Raiders offense.
So I guess Worthy, that was maybe Worthy only had one good game in him. I don't know.
Yeah, so far. I mean, he's had 4 points last week and then 5 this week. So, after getting the 2 touchdowns,
everything seems to be, snap count percentage seems to be trending, similar targets, but he's only getting 2 catches. So he just had a big play that first game with a TD attached to it. So I don't know. Maybe you can't really expect more than, a couple catches out of him.
Right.
Which is interesting. I thought this rookie coming in, fastest guy on the field. I think fastest 40 ever or something like that.
Oh, yeah, close to it. Yeah, maybe fastest.
So, and then Pierce, I don't know Pierce, that just seems like the perfect
What's that?
storm for
Yeah.
Josh. Maybe
Well, yeah. If you look at his bench, so he missed out on some points. If he would have started Jaden Daniels, that would have made up another like 20 points, looks like. And then Singletary, I mean, if he would have started him over one of the over Pierce, let's say, right?
Yeah,
Because
you have to look at
caught him up close. Got him decently close at that point.
and you have to look at
Ayuk too, which is interesting. But yeah,
whether or not they would actually make that call. Like, so Singletary, he's been trending up, so he might be reevaluating that. But his kicker, I may need to swap that out. But so Pierce, I don't know. If you were in his shoes, would you have made any different? Worthy, you couldn't, you didn't have enough trend to see.
No, Pierce, I probably would have started. I mean, I was going after Pierce too, and Josh outbid me on the waiver wires. So, I mean, he got the start. I probably would have started him too.
Yeah, I think Indianapolis is going to be spotty because their quarterback is kind of, he's more like run prone, right? He's going to take off, and I don't know how many times a game he's gonna throw it and complete it, right? It sounds like so far he's had games where he's had like 10 completions, so that can be risky, but then you could also miss out, on a it could be boom or bust, kind of a thing.
Yeah, no, I hear you on that. Okay, well, let's get into it. Philip, any thoughts on this matchup? So Austin is my nephew and Team Lone Star. That's Traco, down in LA. Who is our most seasoned veteran this year. I think he's had like a decade of fantasy football. So, is this just? What are your thoughts?
I mean, Austin's team they ball, man. They put up a lot of points the first couple weeks. I went against him last week. Yeah, his running backs did really well last week. So I think this is just kind of a tough week for Austin. I think he's 0-3, right? He doesn't have a win.
That is
so. Good. I mean, I think it's just a matter of time for him to come around, and I think he's got a pretty good team, and he's going to be all right. I don't know about his quarterback. If he wants to do a trade there with Joe Burrow, he offered me a trade for Jamar Chase, and he wanted Puka Nacua and Jahmyr Gibbs. So I don't know. Maybe we could find something there that helps each other out. So hit me up, Austin.
Yeah, Austin gets active on the trades for sure. I'm trying to think. So just looking at his performance, he's had the most points, I believe. Yeah, most by far points scored against him, and he's looks like the fourth most points in the league. Yeah, he's 0-3. So
it's kind of the same thing you were running into last year, right?
Yeah.
Like you were just getting the wrong matchup every week, kind of, and
the first 2 weeks he lost to like he was like the number 4 scorer and the number 2 scorer in the league. I think he scored like over 160 points and lost one week. So, that's the type of stuff that probably shakes out, another 5 games into the season where, Austin starts to kind of climb his way up. Obviously Richardson, that's unfortunate. I don't know, Johnny, what are you thinking about these matchups and these teams?
Yeah, well, so I think for Austin, that's what I was just talking about with Richardson, right? It's going to be spotty, 7 points, 10 completions there, right? And then he was also starting Michael Pittman, one of Richardson's receivers, right? You trying to double down in that situation, but didn't pay off this week. If you look at his bench, right, he's got Odunze scored 23 points. That would have gotten him a lot closer if he would have started Odunze over, somebody, right, Pittman or Collins, something like that. But
I mean, he kind of had to sit Odunze. You look at the last couple weeks, he just didn't seem like he was going to get much. And then I don't know how to read it. If it's like the defensive matchup, if it's like a lot of man that they're facing, or what it is. But I've been seeing this huge differential in targets. I thought there was somebody I was eyeing, and it's like, okay, he's consistently getting, like Isaiah Likely, first game 1 gets like 12 targets,
next 11 game 2 catches.
Like and now you've got Harbaugh saying that fantasy managers like should give up on Mark Andrews. So it's
is that what he said?
Well, they're rotating like 3 tight ends, so everybody's getting like a third of the
right, and then they probably have him in there to block, and
Which
critical
good for him. He's got
plays
depth, but
stuff,
he's
yeah.
screwing all of us over. So
Right. Well, that's the thing. That is the tough part about the just the depth, and all the injuries is you really got to go to the next layer and all that. But you're right. I mean, probably wouldn't have started on Doomsday, but I mean, Austin, he probably just got to keep at it. He's got a good roster. Hopefully he doesn't slip to 4-5-0 or 0-5 or something like that. But he's already turned over like 40% of his team. I feel like, right? From the waiver wire and all that, right? So, this is maybe somewhat of a product of that. But and then Traco, I guess, real quick.
Yep.
His team's good. I think with the win this week, he should be able to get back at it. I don't know who he's playing next week, but he should, if he can get another win, I think he's definitely a contender.
Rashee Rice, man, he's been seems like he's been producing. Yeah, I mean that's not even
30 points. Yeah,
that's not even a flex. That's like a number one receiver.
He's 17 the first week, 18 second week. Yeah, that's
so
good.
He's got Amon-Ra putting up 20 and Olave. Olave had a big game. I don't know if he's going to consistently do that. But Rashee Rice that's kind of a surprise because we didn't see that out of him last season. I mean, that was only his rookie season though. But if you look week 12 on, he's producing.
Wow. And then this year he's doing good. Wow. Yeah, that's true.
So that's maybe that, that seasoned vet's eye on like upcoming talent and ball distribution.
He's getting the ball because Kelsey's not really.
I was going to say he's taking Kelsey's. Yeah.
Worthy hasn't really the last couple of days, but the last 2 games.
This is kind of scary. I mean, Rashid Shaheed, how did he know to not start him? What?
No, 5 targets, no receptions. That's pretty wild. Not much there on the bench,
I'm curious. I got to figure out what's going on here because he had 2 great games, and then all of a sudden he benches them and he does 0 points. Like, what intel is he operating on to catch that? I mean, I'm curious who he swapped in. Maybe T. Higgins. Oh yeah, T. Higgins came back. So
that's a good question. Yeah, how did he?
I don't know that I would have started T. Higgins over Rashid.
Right, especially after him getting 20 points last week. Yeah, I mean, maybe he was looking at the defensive matchup, like they're playing Philadelphia this week, not. I
mean that would be
not the Cowboys. I don't know. That's maybe the only thing I can really think of. But
if you're making those types of play calls and you're that close to the ground, hey, good on you, right? So
yeah. Well, good win for Traco. So we'll see if he can continue that. Where do you want to go next? You want to go?
Yeah, let's.
You want to go you and Tyler?
Oh sure, yeah. Let's jump into it. This one, oh man, this one hurt. This is, I mean, Tyler. First, we have to give major props. I don't know. He's a pretty big Niner fan, so I think he's paying attention. Just to put on Jauan Jennings. I think who was it? Niners were suffering with like a lot of injuries that who was out or like why was that significant this week? I guess to grab Jauan Jennings.
Yeah, Debo's out.
Okay, Debo is out.
Kittle's out.
Debo and Kittle. Okay, so I remember briefly looking at it, but I said Jauan Jennings. Like I just just kind of looked to see what he had done, and regardless of snaps, I just hadn't seen anything significant, and I immediately passed. I wasn't even considering it. So, Tyler, he picked him up, and the guy, I mean, he just went off 46 points. I just don't know
Hats off to you. Yeah,
I don't know how you win a game where you've got somebody on the other side scoring 50 points with one player.
Right. So. Yeah. Right. Unless the rest of the team blanks somehow, but that's a tough one. He's got Mahomes. And Charbonnet's been stepping in as the number 1 back because Kenneth Walker's been out, so he had 25 points.
Yeah,
10 points above the projection there. And then Diggs, Diggs was above his projection. So was Terry McLaurin. Right, he caught that game-winning touchdown last night. Man, he's good. Right. That's good. It's a good.
Well,
he's got a good team. Tyler's got a good team. If he can get to 2-2, then he's in business. But if he does slide back to 1-3, right, then it's still early in the season. But this is definitely going to be a crucial week, for Tyler.
I mean, he was really struggling to start. And, if you look at the schedule, he was only putting up 104, 108. And so the whole week, I was like, man, this is nice. It's a look ahead week. I remember checking my lineup and I was like, I could even, I could just experiment. Like, I don't even know if I have to.
Wow.
Oh, Darin, dude.
I know.
The arrogance.
I know.
You're yours.
That's what Kevin will end up being if he doesn't set up his lineup this week and swap out those out players, bro. He'll be a look ahead week.
But but as far as my team's performance goes, Jackson, great game. Breece Hall, great game. Very consistent performance by Breece Hall. James Conner, I don't know what happened. He's averaging 19 points and then drops. Looks like just no TDs, not too many rushing attempts. Could have been, the defense he was facing. CeeDee Lamb didn't do much. Andrews laid an egg. Drake London went off, which was nice. And he's, last couple of weeks been doing well. But
yeah,
I mean, all in all, Amari Cooper, this was surprising. I never watched the Browns, but I have Judy and Amari Cooper, so I watched to see, and he can play.
That's good. They still lost, but they still got Deshaun starting. I wonder after this, if they lose one more game, like do they maybe flip over to Jameis Winston? Because like they just haven't, the offense hasn't done well, really, right? So that could, if they do get Jameis Winston in there, or Deshaun, improves, right? Then maybe you could get more out of Amari Cooper as the season goes on. But
the things that I liked on my bench is Prescott. Hopefully he's back. That's, that'd be nice. Steele, I just took a gamble to see if he'd do anything, and it was mediocre. But I don't know. I got to figure out my tight end situation, and then Mixon's out. I think he comes back maybe next week, so that'll be good. But Tyler's bench, Mostert, Deebo Samuel, Lockett's not bad. I don't know. Maybe we'll see more of Tyler in the winner's circle these days.
Yeah. If he can win this week, I think, then all systems go, right? But whereas like whereas other people like you, Josh, Ian, you've got a little bit more leeway, right? If you lose this week, it's not that big of a deal, right? Go and drop to 500, you can still, build from there. But if you go to 1-3, right? You definitely got some room ahead of you,
I
to get back to 500.
I could taste it because I was like Tyler. Then next week Nick. Like I'm gonna be,
It's like 4-0 already. Let's go.
Because you guys were gonna face off next week, and if I won this week, and then Nick another kind of easier schedule, and then you guys knock each other off.
There, counting them chickens already.
All right, so Phil, let's see what you think. What are your thoughts here? We've got Kevin and Nick. I mean, the Dust Bowl over here.
No, I mean, like getting Sam Darnold. I think he picked him up and then gave him the start. Good move, man.
All right, so Nick
MVP. Yeah, I think so.
And he had that handcuff with Jones. That was pretty nice.
Yeah. Jalen Hurts is interesting. If you look at the top 10 fantasy quarterbacks, like Hurts probably isn't close, I would think. Or maybe he's 8. I mean, we should look at the
he's a 20, he's like averaging low to mid 20s, I would say, last season, and then this season. I mean, this just
he did have that one good game, in week 2, but this weekend, 11 points. I don't know. I just feel like it's kind of trending in the wrong direction a little bit. Just that's what I've been hearing from some of the podcasts I listen to, and so it's just something to, if he does it, if he's constantly in the teens, maybe that's something to look at, right? But where are you going to upgrade? There's not really that many quarterbacks out there killing it.
Well, maybe he needs to get on the trade block. Hey, I've got Dak Prescott, Kevin. If you're out there and you need,
that's a move. I'm going to drop Herbert. That's somebody that it could be out there. And then maybe on the flip side, let's talk about Nick with Darnold. I mean, I don't know if he just picked Darnold off the waiver wire. If there's a way to look that up here, I guess
check it.
I think I remember it popping up like pretty late last week.
Well, and then that was because Jordan Love got hurt, I guess, right? But man, can you imagine just picking like, okay, I'll take Darnold, I guess, right? Like I'll take Darnold, and then he ends up leading the league in, he's like top 5 in yards, and he's leading the league in touchdown passes. So, and he might be the number 1 fantasy quarterback at the moment, right, in terms of points scored. So, like that's pretty
Yeah,
wild.
no, he just picked him up right before the weekend, and I actually met Darnold a couple times because Connor, who was in the league last year, they were buddies on on the roster, backup
Right.
quarterbacks at
Uh-huh.
USC together. But yeah, I mean, he was with the Niners for a while, and didn't really get much action. So hopefully he can consistently perform. I mean, they had to let Kirk Cousins go because they needed the cap, right? I guess.
Yeah, and then they were going to have the rookie start was their initial plan. JJ McCarthy was going to start, and then he is out for the season, ACL, MCL, something like that. So
Justin Jefferson's contract just like absorbing like too
that's
much.
a big contract. Yeah. Although, Jefferson's on my team, man, he's had a TD every week, 3 straight weeks, so it's been, that's been worth
Wait,
the
who
money.
was
so
it?
far.
I saw an article, speaking of guys that are like peaking on the cap table. Who was it? Trevor Lawrence? Apparently they're like he's a scandal or something.
That's what I said.
because-
That's why I put that in the chat. He's fraudulent,
Yeah.
man. It's like, man, he is, maybe it's part of he's in Jacksonville, and just Jacksonville's like, it'd be different maybe if he was on the Cowboys or the Steelers or, Seahawks, Niners, like a team that, really is going after it, the Ravens, whatever, right? But maybe it's just kind of just dysfunctional Jaguars, but he has not looked good this season, and he was my starting quarterback last year for my fantasy team, and man, it
Which
was
he
really
did
frustrating.
I thought he was doing all right. It was too
Well,
volatile.
it was he was doing all right enough to keep him, but it was kind of like every other week it was different story, right? It was not.
Yeah.
I looking back on it, I think I would have rather, just try to trade or pick somebody else up or whatever, right? Because he ended the season very poorly last year, because they've lost their last like. What did that thing I say? They're 0-8 or something like that, right? Because they're 0-3 this season, so they lost their last 5 last season, first 3 this season, right? They're on
Yeah.
an 8-game losing streak,
Well,
So-
let's keep it moving. I mean,
Yeah.
Ramondre Stevenson, that was terrible, unexpected. I don't think Nick, like Devontae Adams, that's Kelsey. I mean, Nick has some ballers. Like Calvin
Yeah,
Ridley is
Kelsey.
also somebody that you can typically count on. I mean, 24 points last game, and then last season,
It's
yeah,
the
he's
quarterback
pretty
in Tennessee, I
inconsistent.
think, is the issue. Like that. If you've got a receiver for Tennessee, it's going to be a spotty year. It's like the same thing as the Colts with Richardson. It's just spotty quarterback play.
But this is Nick's like
Yeah,
only hope. It's like McCaffrey comes back. I mean, now with Mason performing, I don't know. I guess he's coming back week 7. But if Nick can hang on, he really needed that win. Because if he won that, next week he plays me, based on trends, that's a loss for him. Like that's gonna be a tough hole to get out of. But once McCaffrey comes back, then he's like, he's in the running just as good as anyone. So is it just like he's doomed, or do you guys think he's got some hope?
got to win this next week. What do you think, though, Phil? Sorry, you jump in.
No, man, he's got to get active on the waiver wire, see where his holes are, and start picking up some players. But I mean, yeah, he's got some ballers. He's just got to hang in there until Jordan Love and McCaffrey are back.
Yeah.
Well, and then maybe the better roster management too. Like if you just look at it, like if he would have started Zach Moss over Stevenson, and then that might have been a good move because Zach Moss was going to play on Monday night, right? It's always good to have at least like 1 or 2 players going on Monday night, so that you can potentially catch up, or that's the standalone game where people really want to show out or whatever, right? So they might do better than their projection. But if he would have, if he would have started that, he would have won. Or if he started Hopkins over Ridley or Smith and Jigma, then he wins as well. So.
But would he have made that move? Because I looked at it, and I mean, Stevenson had done well. The only thing you could look at is like team matchup, but it's like 21, 17 points week 1 and 2, and then now if we go to Zach Moss, it's like 14 and 5. I don't think anybody would have made that call.
Monday night game though, that's the thing. It's
Hopkins, 1 point, and then goes off. So
Yeah, that one. Yeah, that one's unpredictable for sure. The Hopkins, but
Okay.
or even Pickens. Pickens, could make up the extra points over Ridley, right? Could have made up 10 points or whatever he was down. So he only lost by 3 points. So
Well,
just needed.
this game was a little bit overhyped. We thought we were going to
Let's
be
go.
watching window
I agree.
into, yeah.
It's kind of like Texas and Alabama or something like that, and then it just ends up Alabama just stomps them, whatever, 3-4 years ago. Yeah,
There's a
I
lot of
didn't
smack
expect
talk
Josh
and-
Allen to do that well. That was a big lift, and then Williams, I saw Kyron Williams. He's tied for first in touchdowns. For running backs. Jefferson's, I
that's
think,
wild.
tied for first or second in touchdowns. In yards.
I mean, they're just
So-
really struggling on their depth chart. I mean, Tyler
Yeah.
Johnson, Tutu Atwell, Jordan Winnington. I don't think those
Right.
are any of their actual starters. So,
No.
yeah, they're just
Yeah.
giving him a lot of love, and I don't know how consistent that's going to be moving forward.
True. Yeah, it might pull back a little bit, but yeah, he's been good for me. There was even Cole Kmet on my bench. I kind of been waiting for him to, for Caleb Williams to find him, right? I figured the tight end's going to be the safety net for a young quarterback. Like that should be the person he goes to more often than not. And the first 2 games that wasn't the case, but then this game he ends up going off, right? So I could have, I might maybe potentially start him next week. We'll see, but
and it seems kind of inconsistent. Like he just does that, 9, 7, 4, 27.
yeah,
15,
right.
2, 0, 17, 23.
Don't know what you're gonna get.
Yeah, that's.
So I've been going with Kincaid, but no, I'm feeling good about my team.
Yeah, what's up with all these guys carrying depth at tight end? It's like, I'm out here trying to get a tight end. Everybody, I look through the rosters.
I think you need to have 2. You need to have two decent ones, or at least have the second one be a backup where there's an injury, they become the starting tight end. I think it's good to have 2. I mean, yeah, if you want to just maybe go no quarterback, no backup quarterback, no backup defense, and just have all position players, that's not bad.
Backup defense. I don't think you need a backup defense. That seems
unless it's a good one, maybe. But because sometimes depending on who the team's playing, right? You might want to.
Yeah, you might carry a defense for a week.
Yeah.
Are you gonna keep it on your roster though? That'd be pretty.
I don't know. I have so far 3-0.
Oh wow! Well, hey, this is a big week. Hey, Phil,
this is
you
gonna be
need
a
to
big
humble
week.
this guy. Phil, you need.
Yeah, we'll see, man. Yeah, I look at his roster, man. He's stacked, so we'll just have to see how it goes.
Yeah,
no
Phil,
injuries for me so far either. That's the other thing I was gonna say is no injuries, no big injuries for me so far. So that's been good. But let's talk about Ian. I guess I think he just kind of underperformed this week. What do you guys think?
Yeah, Phil, let's break it down. This is your old QB back in the SLV days.
Yeah, man, 7-11, dude. I mean, I would probably would have started Baker. He's been having a really good year.
Yeah,
and I don't think I would have expected Denver to put the stop on like they did. So I don't know. I haven't watched the game. I don't know if he played super poorly or what was going on, but I probably would have started Baker. And then it seems like he had pretty good running back play, and then Neighbors did pretty well, and then everyone else had just dropped off. He had no performance at all. So
Neighbors going off 2 weeks in a row. Jeez. And I was watching that game. He's making plays. Like he's gonna. I think he went over the top of somebody and grabbed completely mossed them. But it wasn't just I got above you. It was he caught the ball over the dude's helmet or something.
Right.
And
kind of reminds me of OBJ, right? In the Giants uniform, right?
But
rookie.
More consistent. Like OBJ, it's he's a big playmaker, in his heyday. But I feel like you just couldn't consistently count on him. He was consistently producing. They throw the balls away. He's making plays. He's doing toe taps. He's, I was surprised. He lives up to it. It was Marvin Harrison picked before him, or Neighbors picked before
Marvin Harrison was before him. I kind of wanted the Cardinals, since I'm here in Arizona. I kind of wanted the Cardinals to go with Neighbors because I had watched, scouted him a little bit, and I was like, man, Neighbors kind of does look like the better player, and his personality is a little better. Whereas Marvin Harrison, his person, he doesn't say a lot. He's very quiet, demeanor.
But that's, they're probably looking at his dad. His dad did 16 seasons or something in the NFL?
Yeah. So they're probably just and I guess they wanted to play it safe. The GM thought, I guess later came out and said, he liked Neighbors but didn't want to, kind of didn't want to take any risk or whatever, right? Just
The
played it safe.
bloodline of the Harrisons, like that.
Yeah.
They were
Well, hey, one thing about Ian's team though, so if you look at it, he's very Tampa Bay dependent. He's got 3 starters for the Bucks, and if they don't, if the Bucks don't score a lot of points, basically he's not going to have a good day. Like so far, and that's kind of me as well with the Bills. Like I've had 3 Bills starters on my team so far, but the Bills are 3-0, but if they have a game where they score 10 points, I'm probably gonna, my week's gonna be shit or whatever. Right? So.
Yeah, so he just kind of lives in. I mean, that's an excellent point, Johnny. I didn't even catch that. He's living and dying by Mayfield's production, really.
Right. Yeah, throwing to the receivers and the running back, and yeah.
So if Mayfield has a good game, everybody's up. Tide rises all boats here.
I mean, that was just this week, right? Normally, the previous 2 weeks he started Kyler, so I don't know if this is gonna. I think that he might have just done that based off the matchup. It's probably gonna be more matchup dependent.
Got it. Yeah, good eye. I didn't notice that. So you've been tracking, Phil. What do you got, a spreadsheet over there?
Yeah, man.
Looks like he's also got, I don't know, is Addison? I feel like he's a decent player, pretty inconsistent.
Well, I know. He did. So that's Ian's issue. So it's like, how long does he hold on to these people that are out, right? Because he might be able to pick them up, right before, they're active again, right? Like Njoku, and Keenan Allen. I mean, is he worth holding on so far? Seeing how the Bills, like what the Bears offense has been doing, right? The Bears offense has not been playing well. Maybe that's because Keenan's not in there potentially, but is it worth holding on to him? That's.
I think anybody you can't guarantee 2 digits out of, it's not really like worth, unless they're coming back within 2 games and they're going to be doing something.
Addison, I would hold just because Minnesota's 3-0 and Darnold's been throwing the ball all over the place, and so like I would definitely hold Addison. But yeah, so wait, is that the last game or do we have one more?
We have one. I think we have one more. So real quick though, is Ian? Are we expecting?
That was it. That was the last game. That was the last one.
Okay. We'll jump to next week. Can we expect Ian to be among the top, or was that just like flash in the pan? What do you think?
He's definitely still in it. I think he's definitely in mid tier at the moment. If he loses this week, it's not the biggest deal, but he's definitely, that will maybe take him out of contention for the top 2 spots, like the bye weeks potentially a little bit. Like if you go 2-2 at this point, but you never know. I mean, I could go 4-0 or 5-0, and then all of a sudden, or Phil could go 4-0 and 5-0, and then we could have like. A bunch of injuries and bad luck and slide, right? So you never know. The team could definitely go on a winning streak. A lot of games to play.
All right. Well, let's dive in. So first, let's just start from the bottom here. We've got Tyler versus Austin. I mean, wow. I mean, Tyler's projecting 109. Austin's projecting 130. Austin is, outside of last week's performance, Tyler, I would say Austin's got it in the bag. But I mean, thoughts? Anybody's thoughts here? What are we seeing in this matchup? Since we saw, I mean, we can't expect Jennings to pull 46 points again.
No, he's not going to pull 46, but I think he's going to have another big game. I mean, you scroll down once you project it at, because he's projected at 7. Yeah, man. Like I could totally see him scoring another touchdown.
Yeah, you're probably right. Unless Debo comes back, I don't know if he's that close.
Yeah, it looks like Debo's coming back.
That's not what I heard.
Officially ruled out. Okay,
that's out.
That was for this game that just happened. Yeah, we'd have to see.
I'm pretty sure Debo's out this week.
Yeah.
What else
to check it out?
I mean, both teams don't want to lose, right? I mean, Tyler needs it, or Austin needs it more, right? If he goes to 4-0, more than likely his season's done. But I mean, still, he could still potentially get that 6th spot. But, but he definitely needs it more. So I mean, I would probably go with Austin just because of the necessity. And I do think Tyler's team will slide back a little bit. Like he probably, won't score as many as he did this week.
All right, Phil. What are you calling?
Pick Austin. I think Austin's he's got a good team, and it's time for things to start swinging back into his favor.
Yep. Yeah, I think we're going to see a boomerang with Austin. I actually want to check his schedule real quick because I don't know.
Yeah, what's on the horizon?
Yeah, let's see what he's got. So his schedule, he's got this week. This week he has Tyler, then next week he has Nick. So we might see Austin go 2-3. And then he's got Kevin after that. So Austin could go 3-3. I mean, obviously Kevin's gonna have a lot of guys, Cooper Kupp, AJ Brown, like all these guys back on his roster. So that's we can't give that to him. But for these next 2 weeks, things, aren't wild just based on projections alone. I think Austin has a couple wins coming his way.
Yeah. But they should be close. I mean, right now it's projected Austin to be 20-point winner, but we'll see.
This one, yeah. I mean, any initial thoughts on this matchup right here?
So
with Kevin versus Josh, and Kevin now kind of getting his head back in the game. It looks like Kupp is still out. I think Kupp
needs
doesn't come back.
You just have to text him on Thursday or whatever. Make sure he gets swap some people in there. Put Keon Coleman and
Kevin. If you're listening, you're a man of God, a man of your word. I don't think I need to babysit. Let's see what happens.
Let's see. So he's gonna have to replace. Kittle was the starting tight end. He's gonna have to put the only tight end on the roster is this guy. What's his name? Pat Freiermuth. He's averaging like 6-7 points on the Steelers, something like that. Freiermuth. So, he'll have to put. But he just got to win with 2 guys sitting on the bench or no points or whatever. But yeah, I think for this week I would go with Josh. I think he's Josh is definitely like tuned in. It seems like, and I think his team's good. His team's kind of a little bit boomer bust with like the 2 rookies. Bowers and Worthy. It looks like he put Singletary in there.
I'm worried about Worthy.
Starting Daniels, it looks like, over Carr.
Dude, look at that. I mean, averaging like 3 or 4 targets a game. I don't think unless the game plan changes there. I don't know. Maybe Worthy just got loose on that play. It's like you said, boomer bust player.
Right. Yeah, and I don't know. I'd be curious to see if he gives Brandon Ayuk the start, because at some point he's gonna have to start showing that he's worth that $30 million. And I think they got a good matchup,
bro. I mean, after the whole saga in this offseason, and not that we were expecting him to like lead the league in targets or be the top 5 in receiving yards, but yeah, it's like 5 points, 10 points a game. So far it hasn't been. He's maybe had less than 150 yards the whole season, right?
I think Justin Jefferson just set such a high bar that everyone's like, shoot, we got to capitalize on this right now. And did he finish his contract? Who was it that didn't finish their contract? Or was Ayuk this year, right?
Yeah, it was this year.
Yeah, that was the one. He was the one in the offseason they were trying to get
still negotiating. I think somebody is still.
There was Trent Williams, but he came back because I don't know if he ended up getting the new deal or not.
Yeah.
I think all the receivers are signed.
I don't know about this carrying 2 defenses, Josh. I think you're going to need to. I mean, I don't want to give you too much advice, but in like Carr, I don't even know if that's. Oh yeah, he's been doing pretty well.
I'd keep Carr because, like, he Daniels isn't proven he's a rookie. Like, he's probably gonna need 2 quarterbacks, honestly. So,
but I mean, that is great. Like, 2 28s. That's pretty nice.
Yeah.
So okay, I'm calling Josh, Kevin. When your boys come back, I think that's a different story. But for now, and he's also got this secret weapon who's only projecting 13 points. Man, they're like not.
Well, it's because of the quarterback, because Tua's hurt.
Oh, that's right.
And they had Skylar Thompson as the starter, and yeah, it's just not going to be the same, But Tyreek will still be the number 1 option, when
in my mind,
they are throwing the ball.
If you're coming in and you're like, not getting that many snaps, don't really know what you're doing, just lock your eyes on the best athlete in the this guy's like one of the top athletes in the game. Like just watch him, and then when he gets loose, just sit down when you get open. It's like that's what a lot of folks are doing in the league. It's like you're running a route. That's kind of the Kelsey route. It's just like wherever you're at in your route, if you find a gap in the zone, you just literally sit. And I would just give a quick look off, snap back to Tyreek Hill, and just freaking wire him the ball wherever he's at if he's not double covered.
But that game's on Monday night coming up. So like, they probably will look Tyreek's way, just, because it's going to be, lights are going to be on, right? All right, where do you want to go next?
I want to save your game for last. So let's go Ian. Or did we already cover Ian and Traco? Not yet.
No,
No,
we need to-
not yet.
Okay, so Ian versus Traco. I think this one is a pretty critical game on both sides. We're talking about two guys that, kind of preseason, speculation. These are some top 4 kind of folks here. Ian, prior to his last loss, you would think that he's on the gravy train, and
he was the
Traco-
he was number 1 spot. Had the number 1 in the league last week. So, it just takes a quick trip to the woodshed to send somebody all the way down to this place there.
So Phil, what are you calling? What are you seeing here? I mean, we've got Traco estimated to take the win. Ian,
Yeah, I think Traco. I don't know. We'll see. If he starts Kyler or not, but he's hurting with injury right now, Ian. So he's going to have to make some moves if he's going to try to win this week. But I think Traco's got a good lineup, and it'll probably be him.
Whoa, Ian, he's
Sorry, bud.
turned on you.
Yeah,
call like I see him.
Spit in his face, Ian.
I would probably go with Traco as well. I mean, and then maybe bringing up that point again about Ian's team has a lot of very Tampa Bay dependent, and they're playing the Eagles this week. It looks like, which they have a pretty good defense. So I think Traco's team is more balanced. Like if you look at it, he's got like everybody's on a different team. I don't think he's got 2 people on Cleveland, I guess, but that's it. So his team's very balanced. Got the win this week, headed in the right direction. So yeah, I think you got both teams at 2-2 after this week.
Okay, so Ian takes the L for you, Johnny. I mean, yeah, Amon-Ra, Olave does he have a tight end that's healthy? I don't know. He's in concussion protocol. Maybe he returns, maybe he doesn't, and he doesn't have. Oh, he does. He has Schultz. Who has been
had 2 catches.
You can't count on him for much. So, but he's also got Rashid. This one's tough. I'm kind of feeling like Ian will make the right call on his roster. He's probably going to go with Kyler. Is he?
Yeah, he might go with Kyler.
Yeah, he's going to go with Kyler, and I think that's the gap. It's going to give him another like 6 points probably, and then it's really close. And I don't know. Neighbors has produced like well over his speculation. I feel like Traco could. Traco has some rock stars. It really depends. I would be curious, what Vegas's defense looks like and Seattle's defense looks like against these two guys, because I think these are the guys that make the big difference. And then of course Olave and Rashid Rice, I think, has been overperforming. I don't think we can continually expect that performance from him. But
True.
So I'm calling Ian on this, and
Okay.
I'm looking forward to checking the tape to see
All right.
how it
Okay,
how it
we're
came
split.
out.
We're split on this. All right,
Yeah.
that sounds good. All right, let's go to you and Nick then. Looks like you're projected to win pretty handily here. Obviously, I think Nick's got to do some adjustments to the roster. They're probably swap Stevenson out. They're going against New England's playing the Niners this week, so I'd probably take Stevenson out of there and put Zach Moss in, or get another running back. But Ian needs a win, not Ian. Nick needs a win, right? If he goes to 0-4, he might as well just,
I thought we were going to see more out of him this year, and when he grabbed CMC, I think he was just expecting that.
Right.
He has Devontae Adams too, which this guy is just like, I cannot believe his story. He should be producing like 26 points every game, and they just literally can't get their crap together. But Kelsey, Devontae Adams, CMC, who's injured right now, Darnold obviously has been playing nice. Nick, somebody like cursed his like fantasy ability or something, because he struggled last year, and
it's odd. I can't put my, I don't know if it's a drafting, or maybe he just bad luck. Like Kelsey, he drafted Kelsey, and Kelsey hasn't performed this year. Ridley hasn't performed.
Those are big name guys that, CMC,
Adams.
That was unexpected. Kelsey, me
Jo-
personally, I don't think he has as big of a standout, but
And Jordan Love's injury, yeah.
but I mean, I think it's just we're just in a tough league. I think that's what it is. It just comes down to there's a lot of guys that are on their A game. I think Nick is way more active and understanding of the game this year.
Yeah.
And I don't know, guys like Ridley, like that's just really inconsistent where you'd hope to see them, perform a little higher, but it's not different than he's done in the past. So you can get creative too. It's like you don't just have to go on waiver. It's like if you have depth, he has a couple QBs that now that Darnold's producing, it's like he could leverage that to somebody else who needs a QB to get another roster spot of flex where it's like he swaps out Ridley or in Jigba or something like that. So I think my advice for you, Nick, is like think outside the box. You've got depth at QB, which you may or may not want to hang on to. You're holding a tight end that I mean, if you look at last year, it's like single digits the whole time.
Not
There's no
much
real
there,
point
yeah.
to hang on to that. Like go anticipate somebody else that's going to pop off soon for whatever reason on the waiver.
Right.
And then, I mean, he's almost there. So if he could fill in like one or two guys that he could actually depend on, then he has a stable team that can get him some dubs. And I think he does that by swapping a QB, dumping guys like this off the roster, taking a gamble on some folks. And then for me, I think I take this game just because of what's been going on. If my guys perform, Mixon's coming back as well. I hope. Yeah, I think he is.
Are you going to start Mark Andrews again?
Dude, I probably will dump Andrews unless I just trade him. I'll have to trade him before this episode comes out.
Yeah, good luck there.
But yeah, I mean, he could. I mean, here's my hope that Andrews, not hope, I shouldn't say that. If Andrews gets injured, then Isaiah Likely is going to pop off, right? So
yeah,
I
right.
feel like
he's
Andrews
not hurting
just,
anything on the bench or you could bench him if you wanted, but
I know, and this is just fantasy world. I'm not saying any ill will toward Andrews. I hope he has a great season, but yeah, this is I don't know. I got to figure this out because Harbaugh's not respecting any fantasy managers out there.
Yeah, it's tough because Lamar can run. I mean, you do have Lamar, so that's nice when they don't throw it to the tight end. You're at least getting the points from Lamar, no matter what he does, right? So that is I think it's a good strategy. But but having to decide every week between Likely and Andrews, that's going to get
Andrews isn't even going to be
every week, pretty much. I don't know.
I'm if I hadn't paid all the money I paid for Likely and he hadn't shown that one game, I would have dumped him. But Andrews, I might have to swap out. I need a different guy. So
might be worth to see what else is out there on tight end, today. Because tomorrow waivers happening tomorrow, so we got to do it today. But
is this
for
the
Nick
last
here? I would say, it is. I was just say on the last thing on Nick is definitely got to get that win. Otherwise, he might as well start hitting Denny's and start grand slamming it.
But last year his motto was win one game. Like he literally
just win a game.
Yeah, because that's all you have to do. Once you get in the losers bracket, it's like you could have lost. You could have gone 0-14
right,
or something.
You just got to win a game in the playoffs there or whatever.
Yeah.
Right? In the loser playoffs. Yeah, true.
In which we saw last year. It's like anybody. Ryan was like, number 5.
Ryan was like almost close to making the playoffs, and then he ended up losing. Yeah, but I think he must have slept on this lineup.
And the reason Ryan got knocked out of playoffs is because he didn't make a roster update. There was like 1 hour before the game, somebody was listed as injured, and he didn't update his roster, and that's how he lost. So you got to stay active. All right. Well, here's
let's get the last one.
Matchup, the last one, and then we'll wrap it out. But I mean, this is the mini Super Bowl. It's the last of the undefeated teams.
Phil.
We've got a seasoned veteran, leader, Johnny Newhart, who's undefeated. He's been here before. And then we've got Phil, who's it's his rookie season in the league, and he's really proven the haters wrong. so that appears.
Malik Neighbors over
The
here.
one hater.
Yeah. Which he's facing. So this might be a redemption story. This might be a revenge game. I don't know. What
It circled on his calendar, like he said. I told you, be prepared to face a 3-0 team there, Phil. Right? Didn't I say that?
Yeah, that's
And
right.
I didn't think that you were going to be 3-0 as well. But congrats, man. It's going to be right. If you look at the projections, it should be a 5-point game. I don't think I'm going to change my lineup at all. Really, I mean, I might maybe do swap. I might put Clement in there, maybe, but I think if that's going to be the lineup, well, I don't know. Pollard didn't play very well last week, so I might maybe swap Pollard out, put another receiver in or something. But I don't know. What about you, Phil? Are you going to make any changes to yours in your lineup?
I think my lineup's set. The only thing is maybe if Devontae Smith plays, but even if he does, I don't know if I want him out there or not. So
Right.
I think my lineup's set. Deontay Johnson, I think he has a good matchup. I can't remember who he's playing this week, but I think we'll go with it.
Yeah.
Devontae Smith was, producing. I don't know who would he replace if you did start him. I mean, everybody else seems to
Deontay
be...
Johnson. Yeah.
Okay.
Jalen Waddle, I don't know with the quarterback out. I might pull him. He has some upside.
I'm not
so
super
I don't know.
confident about that.
I would say, until that quarterback has a good game, I would just put Tyreek Hill. I would start Tyreek Hill, but I wouldn't start anybody else, honestly.
So
you can't give him too many tips, Johnny. You might.
That game is on Monday night though, so like you probably do want you got Gibbs going on Monday night. Let's see, do I have any Monday nighters? Yeah, I got Metcalf, and looks like so. It's never bad to have 1 or 2 players on Monday night, so that keep the week going. But
right.
But yeah, I mean, it's going to be good. It should be, within a few points of each other. Only one team's going to be 4-0 at the end, and I hope it's me.
Should we? Okay, so Johnny, who are you calling? You calling yourself?
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, I'll call myself. Yeah.
All right, Phil.
It looks like I'm projected to win there. That's what the computer says. That's what the AI bot says.
I'm curious about the accuracy of that, though. The projections are always baloney.
It's obviously sometimes I've seen it within like a couple hundredths, and then other times it's nowhere near.
Right.
I don't know. I don't want to break my confidence or anything. I feel like Johnny's probably got the better team, and he might win this week. So I'll give it to him.
You feel Johnny has a better team? Why?
He's got more depth, man, and he's got.
But no one's changing their lineups. So of the starters, why does he have a better team?
Starters. Well, I was looking at Josh Jacobs here because it says does Phil know like if it's in red, like if you're looking on the app, Phil, like if it says the opponent's team in red, then that means they have a hard defense basically for that position. But if it's in green, so like I was looking at Josh Jacobs is playing Minnesota this week, and Minnesota looks like they have a good rush defense. So I'm like, do I maybe put somebody else in that spot?
Yeah, my week, I've got a bunch of red and orange teams, a couple green teams.
Yeah.
But I think
you want green. You want the green. Yeah.
I got a lot of hard matchups.
So where is he better than you, Phil? Tell me. What
he's better at quarterback. At running back, I'm better at running back. He's better at receiver for sure. Justin Jefferson and DK Metcalf.
Which he has Kyron Williams and you have Kamara, which have had a pretty similar outstanding performances the last few weeks.
Tony Pollard hasn't really produced this year, has he?
Yeah, no. I mean 15, 18, that's great, but last week not so much. Jefferson, he's got you. I mean, Garrett Wilson though, it's been pretty mediocre for him.
Yeah, but he's getting targets and they've got plays designed for him, so it'll come together. Like Garrett Wilson is eventually going to ball. But right now, DK Metcalf, he had a huge week and he's a baller. So I think he's got better receivers.
Which Metcalf didn't do much last season, so he's definitely getting a lot more action. I mean, 14 targets.
He's got 2 so far. Yeah, he's been.
Who in the league has gotten 14 targets on any team? I have not seen that.
That was against New England, but yeah, it's we'll have to see if it continues. But yeah, I'm excited, boys. What else we got? I gotta.
No, we're wrapping. I don't know. It's like this is not good. Waddle, and then you have a tight end in your flex.
I just put him in. I'm gonna do some more research and I might maybe pick up a player or two. I'm gonna put some claims out tonight. But,
honestly, this is a tough game to call. I think it depends. I mean, Kamara, he's just been going off, but I don't see that being like sustainable unless he's everything for their offense right now. But this play right here, he hasn't really popped off, but he's consistently putting points up. Kyron Williams and Justin Jefferson and Josh Allen, that's strength right there. And for like this half up, I say Johnny takes it. And then I don't know. This is sketchy right here to me. Yeah, it's a tough one to call. It depends if Mason's able to continue his hot streak or not.
Yeah, he should. He should have a good game.
They're playing. Who are the Niners playing? I can't remember.
New England.
They should definitely win that game.
I think Phil certainly has a shot. I'm not super confident in Burrow right now, even though he's trending up.
Yeah, they're playing Carolina, and that's going to be the Andy Dalton revenge game. Andy Dalton's going to be playing his former team.
Yeah.
They could, the Bengals could lose that one potentially, but
Josh Allen in the rain versus Buffalo. Like, I don't know is it raining or is it?
Oh, Baltimore at Baltimore. Yeah, that might be. One. But Josh Allen's been consistent performer all season, so it's.
I'm favoring Johnny on this one, but absolutely Philip could take it.
Phil's favored, so that'll be interesting. Yeah.
You were favored. You were favored 5 minutes ago. So
I think. Well, was that because I swapped out? Maybe because I swapped out.
Yeah, you just
actually, if Johnny plays Komet, I don't know. I might rescind my vote here. But he's only.
Well, it was Josh Jacobs who had pulled out, but
yeah,
I don't know. I'm gonna look at it more.
Yeah,
but all right, I gotta go get the house ready.
Well, great show, guys. Phil, great to have you in the building. I mean, the rising star. If you win this week, you're going to be making a big splash. So,
that would be, rookie manager would be, top of the league there, the only undefeated team. So, but then there'd be a target on your back, So
hey, it's all about bringing home the money.
That is true.
Who wins the last week?
So
I agree.
All right. Well, great having you guys, and over and out.
Kick off to the game now. Darin and Johnny here, wow. Talking NFL, no doubt. Breakdowns and the standout. Big plays and the touchdowns. Huddled in the background. Each week we break it down. Our podcast is the town. Game day recap on the run. Darin, Johnny having fun. Tune in for the highlights, son. First down hit and we're done. From the field to the show. Touchdowns catching fire, yo. Every week we let it flow. Darin, Johnny's voice, With the stats and the plays. Sundays like a maze. Analysis amaze. NFL these new days. Game day recap on the run. Darin, Johnny having fun. Tune in for the highlights, son. First down hit and we're done.